What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another episode of Love and War. I'm your host, Dr. Francis, and today we are going to be talking about married, dating, and miserable. Why do people stay in really terrible relationships? Before we jump into the topic, we're going to do like we always do and say what's up to the panel tonight. First out the gates, Tasha W. How you doing tonight, ma'am?
Doing all right, another Monday, a new week, so we'll see what the week brings.
Awesome. We're going to kick it over to Showtime, rocking the Lakers. How you doing tonight, sir?
Over here reading about.
You broke up there a little bit.
I'm broken up. Hear me? Can you hear me? So I'm over here reading. Just got my results back.
I don't know what you said, but okay. We're going to kick it over to Theo. How you doing tonight, sir?
Doing good. I got my second vaccine shot today. So if you see me doing this, I'm just stretching the arm out. And I want to say happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yes. And it was also Administrative Professionals Week this week for all of you who are working for the federal, state, or local government, and you're making the wheels on the bus go round and round. Shout outs to you. So for all of you out there, we just want to put a plug, do your part to keep community safe. We're hoping that we can get back to normal and COVID can be in the past if everyone does their part. Make sure you're reading and taking your doctor's orders, understanding whether or not you have severe allergies, and understanding if you fall into one of those categories within autoimmune issue, that you're consulting your physician on the appropriate vaccine to take. All right. So let's jump right into the topic. People are out here dating and miserable. They out here married and miserable. And they out here in relationships with individuals that they really shouldn't be in. So we want to kind of unpack the idea of why do people stay in what some people call piss poor relationships. So let's kick it over first and shout out to our viewer. Thank you so much for commenting. If you have some comments you want to drop in the chat, be sure to do so. Let's kick it over to Showtime. Piss poor relationships. Before we ask the question, why do people stay in? Because some people are naive and oblivious, and they don't understand they're in relationships that they shouldn't be in. So can you just give us some clear indicators that you're in what we call a piss poor relationship?
You know it. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're in a piss poor relationship, when you always gotta go to your homeboy and ask him, what should I do? That's a clear to ask situation. That's the sign. But most
Dang, that Baltimore City internet is horrible.
now I live in Baltimore City.
Where are you?
I tell people where the hell I'm at.
Oh.
I'm wrong with her.
We didn't hear what you said. You breaking up again. I don't know. Maybe you should move closer to the window.
Is that better?
I don't know yet. You ain't been talking long enough. We're going to go over to Theo. What's a piss poor relationship, in your opinion?
I mean, it's just, if you're not happy, you're kind of just going through emotions. It's kind of seems like you just every day, that's what you do. And basically it's just not being happy or no, I guess that's still not being happy. I would say, you're just out here in these streets, but yeah, you're just not happy at home. And that's what's going on.
Well, and to jump on that, if you're out here in these streets, something's an indicator that what you're not getting what you're seeking in the streets. from the person you're supposed to be exclusively with. So yeah, I would have to piggyback on that. TW, same question.
I think honestly, and truly, why some people stay in those type of relationships, boredom, just something to do, loneliness, some people are uncomfortable being by themselves. They just have to have something going on. They have to have someone. Doesn't matter. I call them gap fillers, you know. And I think also, unfortunately, you have people who run in packs, right? So a core group, if all of their friends are with someone and they feel like the odd person out, they feel like they have to have someone to kind of be a part of the conversation, whether the connection is toxic or not.
Yeah, and I've been trying to unpack this in my mind about why people would prefer to be with someone and unhappy instead of happy by themselves. I just can't understand or grasp the concept, because I would want to, and this is just me, I can't speak for anyone else. I would want to be happy. I would want to wake up every day and having a companion next to me every day that isn't contributing to fulfilling or doing anything on the positive spectrum. I don't see how we want to continue to waste energy. And the thing that bothers me the most about people who stay in what we can call it toxic, piss poor, whatever you want to call it. The relationship's not working. You know it's not working. And sometimes when you even have conversations with people who know they're in a bad relationship, they're like premeditating how to get out, how to end it instead of just ending it. It's like, it's this whole process. Now, if you're married, totally understand there's a whole process legally you got to go through to detach yourself from the individual. But as far as like making the decision to move on, that's where I see the struggle happening. Like you have certain people who make excuses for why they want to continue to indulge in the behavior that they can't tolerate. So why do you think, what's holding people back, Showtime, from like acting on the instinct that they know they should just get rid of the relationship? Like, why do people always go, well, they try to convince themselves that they're not feeling or seeing what they're feeling and seeing about hating being with the person that they're with?
Number one, they don't love themselves enough to remove themselves from a situation that could be better for them. Some people like abuse. Whether or not they want to admit it or not, they are openly accepting of the abuse. And some of them fear of just not wanting to be alone and understand that you can be good by yourself. And I know someone personally that goes through hell but stays, and I don't understand him. And usually, as a woman, I don't understand him. But you have to understand what the person has been through. You have to do a little more research. That's why we have TW, because she'll get all inside of their head and find out what's going on. Because this person, specific person, is a great person, but gets the short end of the stick all the time, and nothing that he can do is good enough. And this is a marriage, and it can pose a problem. So you have to ask that person, why do you stay, and why? And when you can't answer it, it's like you have no answer other than you just don't want to be alone.
Okay, T-Dub.
I think it, you know, kind of going back to what Showtime was saying, self-love is very critical. I think also there's a lack of self-confidence, self-worth. A lot of times people feel like past trauma, so they feel like they need to accept the bare minimum, or they feel like they don't deserve to be happy. But then you have some people who really don't want help. They just like the drama and they seek attention. I know a few people who fall in that category, unfortunately. I'm going to invoice these people too, because don't call me about the same situation that you know is happening, but you're not willing to confront it. See, those type of people, I'm sorry, I can't. But people who truly don't know how to get out of it, those are the people that can talk to me, because there's some unresolved, like deep rooted things going on that sometimes you subconsciously place in the back of your mind. And then you don't realize that you're accepting this behavior, or you don't understand why you're settling for it. And a lot of times it's not just relationships, but it could be other areas that you realize you settled for too as well. So a lot of it could be, maybe they feel like they don't deserve. It's that self-sabotage. Some people just feel like maybe they've done people wrong in the past and feel like they're getting it back. And that's not the case. Like it doesn't work like that. It's not tick for tack. Everyone deserves true happiness and true companionship, and everyone deserves the love that they are able to freely give out. So
Theo, jump in here.
Yeah, I think just some people are scared to be alone. Some people just had that mindset. I guess I'm going to say it's more of our parents and more grandparents that like you just figure it out. Like you don't stop. You figure it out. Divorce is not an answer. I mean, you don't want to get divorced, but sometimes that if you need to be happy. And then sometimes that phrase we heard is cheaper to keep her type thing. Some people be like, well, but I just think you just need to be happy. And I actually was against the, like when people were married for a long time before and they get divorced like after 20, 25, 30 years, I'd be like, you might as well stay with her. But like now I have the mindset, they deserve to be happy too. Because Bill Gates and Melinda getting divorced after 27 years. And look, so that means
when the kids turn 18,
that means it's cheaper.
child
Cheaper's
support no
gone.
longer issue.
Yeah, if Bill Gates could get divorced, we can't say cheaper to keep her no more because he got more money than all of us. Okay, but nah, you just deserve to be happy. I think we had that mindset of we have to get through this like every time. Like I'm not saying give up easily and quit, but
yeah,
some things you get up out of there.
Right, and I do. I mean, I get it a little bit for those who are like, oh, they trying to make it work because they took a vow for better or for worse. And this they're worse. But good Lord, if they ain't never know for better, it ain't say for worse or for worse. It say for better or for worse. Okay. That means you had to be ebbing and flowing between the two. You can't just be stagnant here worse. So, I mean, and I'm not married, so take what I say about marriage with a grain of salt. But I'm single for a reason, because I understand the value. Like Showtime said, I love myself dearly and I am very happy. But I do understand that, you don't, like Theo said, you don't want to just, as soon as a person mess up, I don't want nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? So I want to talk a little bit about something and I don't know how you're all going to respond to this one. So we'll just see how it goes. So what if you're in a situation where, and somebody knows currently dealing with this, and so I'm bringing this to the platform for advice purposes. And many of you may not be able to relate, but with the situation, but maybe you can lend some advice. So let's say that you're an individual and you've dated, and and married. So let's give it in two perspectives, dated and married, because I think the answer would be different. Let's say you're married and your longtime spouse commits a crime, like putting his knee on the neck of a human being and killing them. And they're now probably going to be sentenced to life or maybe close to life behind bars. Do you think that situation should be the cause for divorce? Many of you know about the national case I'm talking about. The wife is actually divorcing, but let's just say if it wasn't even that case, let's just say if some person you were dating, committed a crime and now they're going to be sentenced to life. Do you think that is also an out for marriage? because there's an individual that that is they don't know what to do, you know? They want to stay with them, but they also know that they have needs. And this is actually an inverse. It's actually the man's wife is being sentenced and will be behind bars for probably 2 decades. And they're already in their late 40s. So you can see what 2 decades would mean. Do you think what do you say in that situation? Like, is it okay to divorce someone because they're going to be sentenced to jail forever? I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's for better or worse, right? Rich or poor. I mean, if it's about, if it's love, then no, you don't divorce. Now, if it's something that's morally or unethical that you don't agree upon, that's different. But if I was with my wife and she went out and robbed a bank for the family, I'm still gonna ride with her because she was doing it for the family. You know, she was on her cookie. You know, she was doing dirt for the family. So I'm gonna ride with her, take care when she get home. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's the grounds of divorce. But I can understand. But if you really take the vow seriously, then no. Only if it's against, you know, somebody out there. You know, you black, but your husband go out and kill a black man. And like, oh no, you know, I'm not for that. And it was racially motivated or whatever. So I just don't think that those are grounds, in my opinion.
Okay. Theo?
Well, I mean, let me see. You go to jail. I mean, if you do 20 years, you didn't run a stoplight or, you know, speed or something like that. You did some things.
You did a felony.
Yeah, and or it's not your first time, so you're not very smart. You don't switch up or just stop. I say it's the grounds to leave. I mean, you don't be single basically for 20 years. You just write letters back and forth. 20 years, him or her, they want to have a boyfriend or girlfriend in jail. So you might as well have some things, have some fun while you out there. So, I mean, I would honestly, unless it was something crazy like murder or something like that, I probably would try to stay strong-ish
for the first 5.
Oh, so he was nice. I was gonna say 6 months to a year. Like I'm gonna try
I'm
gonna try to like, you know, get you through the rough part and stuff like that. But after that, I'm done. I mean, if we got kids, I'll bring the kid to see you and stuff. But like, I have needs. I want to have fun. And like you said, he didn't say for worse or worse. That's worser. You know, so I would say that's grounds to get up out of there. I'm pretty sure that's somewhere in the Bible. I'm gonna look it up. That's somewhere in there.
Look that up. Look that up. Tosh.
Well, I can't speak from the married perspective.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Let me give you this one.
But
I had another one in the pocket.
Okay, because I was.
So you know how it's this new, it's not new, this has been going on.
Mm-hmm.
People are dating people who are in jail, for life without the chance of parole. So that means they will not, they aren't going to see the light of day as we know it, unless some legislation changes. Does life really mean life? But what do you think about people who are marrying people in jail? You know how, and let me just put this. I am not against individuals in jail. I am a criminal justice reform expert. So I am for second chances. But this is a real question that came in, and we want to be able to address it here on Love and War, because we are about addressing the 21st century relationship issues that people are having challenges with. And I think that's a difficult decision. So let me give you some more context on this one. So it was a young lady. She known this guy. They grew up together in high school. She went away to college. He didn't go to college. Got hooked up with the wrong people. He, landed himself a lengthy sentence in prison. And so she always wanted to date him. And this has some underlying context as far as theme and story. She always wanted to date him. Oh, he would never give her the time of day. Now that he is locked up, he got all the time in the world. So what saith thus on Love and War to the individual?
For that particular
For
situation.
this particular one, yeah.
I think she's more infatuated with the idea that he's now noticing her. And unfortunately, she settled for the crumbs. I mean, because if he were not incarcerated, would he still have the initial feelings he had before of not giving her the time of day and not having an interest in her? So it's kind of like, why now, right? And then I also want to ask the individual, why are you accepting that? Because that means Sweetie needs to schedule an appointment with me, and I'm not even being shady, but for real. Like, what's going on? How do you view yourself? What is the concept of who you think you are? Like, what is your identity at the end of the day? Do you feel like you have purpose? Because something is going on where you're just easily like accepting a behavior like that, right? So you can't put it all on the guy to say, okay, I'm now reaching out to her because just because he gave her the invitation doesn't mean that she has to accept the invitation. You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of look at it from both ends. And so I just really want to know why she's okay with that. And does she feel like she can't get anyone else? Or, you know, it just seems more of an infatuation. Personally, that's not my portion. I can't, you know, date somebody that's going to be in jail for a long time. You know, and again, of course, I'm not against incarceration. I mean, personally, I can attest that I've had family members who grown up who have been in jail for a large portion of my life. And I've seen them in relationships and they ended up married to the person after they got out of jail. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, I just, not my portion, because, you know, I don't want to feel like I'm in jail with you. I'm a person, if I'm in a relationship, let's go out on a date. Let's do this. I can't do that while you're in jail. You know, not with you. So it's like, why stay with someone if you know what you want and what you're looking for or what you anticipate in a relationship? So I think it starts with that ideally. What do you want out of a relationship? You know, what are you looking for in a companion before you just make the decision to say, I'm going to stick with somebody in the long haul or I'm not. But yeah, I need to talk to Miss Thing. I need to talk to her because it's just some gray areas, you know. Once he got locked up, it's kind of like, oh, hey, you know. And so I don't know if it was just like an easy target because he knew that, you know, if I just jump for the opportunity, she'll take it. So I don't know.
That's messed up if that is the case.
You gotta be low to do something like that.
Let's go to the realist, Showtime. Why do you think he reached out now?
He's bored. He needs some money on his books. Shit, he down and out. He ain't got nobody else to call. You know.
He said he needs some money on them books, boy. Let me tell you, you need a real answer, you go to Showtime every day of the week.
And I think I know who this is, but but no, it's the only logical reason I could think of. I mean, you wait till now I'm in this situation to reach out. That's like mind blowing. It doesn't make
right. Oh, mind blowing, like
you know, he's going through. That's what it is. He going through. That's what the church folks say. He going through.
Yeah, so I want to just piggyback. So Tasha had boiled it down to what I call the nuts and bolts of relationships, where you have individual. You really need to understand what you're getting out of a relationship. I don't care if the person, you know, whether you're married, whether you're dating. The whole point is this: if you have an idea of what it means to be in a relationship with you and you value certain things and you value how you should be treated and you understand how you would like to communicate and how you would like to move and shake in your relationship, and the individual who you are pursuing or who's pursuing you does not align with your idea of a relationship, then that probably is a strong indicator that you shouldn't be with that individual, because that individual they're not coming close to what you want. And if they're not going to fulfill what you want, you may be able to put up with it for maybe, like Theo said, 6 months or so, just for the sake of being with somebody. But eventually you're going to look around and say, why am I enduring this? And you'll eventually, when you get the courage and you understand, and you start loving yourself and looking in the mirror, you'll let them go. But we're trying to help you not waste any more time contemplating, trying to convince yourself that maybe they'll change, because what they showed you month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, some of y'all year 2, 3, 4, that's who they are. The saying goes this, and even Bush Jr., was this the second Bush Jr. said this: fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Don't let these folks fool you. And then you got the folks that will sit here and do what they said they wasn't going to do. They keep doing it. And then if you're with a narcissist or a gaslighter, when you go back to the conversation in which y'all had where they agreed not to do what they continue to do, they'll throw something. This is what they'll say to you: let's just accept it and move on. No, we've accepted it and moved on 3 or 4 times. And here we are again. So this is how I'm going to accept it. I'm going to accept the fact that me and you are not meant to be, and I'm going to move on by myself. Good night.
Well, there you have it.
And that's how it should be. It's not that hard. Let's give final words of advice tonight for those who are, I want to start with Theo. I want to start with Theo. Let's address the people who are struggling right now in their mind. They know their friends told them, yo, let it go, dog, let it go. She out there. Or maybe it's a gentleman. Let him go, sis. You can do better. What do we say to get that person over the hump to make the decision to hang it up and move on?
I know it's tough because they probably heard it multiple times. I think we said it before. Just when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Like, just get up out of there and be happy. Don't be scared to be happy. Some people are scared to be happy. Don't be scared to be happy. Get out there. I mean, think about that other guy or girl that you thought you couldn't live without. Look at you out here living. So you don't keep on living. Just be with the next one. And for the jail people, if they go to jail and then they don't got no bail, the relationship is a fail, all right? So just get up out of there.
Bars, once again. Showtime. Final words, sir.
Recognize the signs. The red flags are always present. React on your mind and not your heart. And that'll lead you in the right direction almost 85 to 90% of the time. So don't go down that path. Keep thinking that things are going to change or that person is going to miraculously have an awakening. It's not going to happen. They have shown you who they are. Accept it for who it is and know that there's greater on the other side for you.
TW.
Be honest with yourself. Pay attention to what you see and stop trying to create a different narrative. People are not going to change unless they want to. You can't force them to change. And also, do not, complain about things you're not willing to confront or address. If it's something that you're going to continuously turn a blind eye to, then there's no need for you to vocalize it. And as far as your friends, after a while, they're going to get tired of giving you the same advice that you're not taking heed to. So you got to pay attention to that too. And don't be with someone out of loneliness. If they can't add to who you are, or if you don't even know what you can bring to the table, then that's a sign that you need to be by yourself.
Yeah, and so I want to give 2 pieces of advice. I'm going to give advice. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I got one more quick one that just popped in my mind.
Yeah.
If somebody that you're with makes you so mad that you need to go on Facebook and cry or write a status, they not for you either, okay? Get up. If they make you so mad that your first thought is, let me do a video or write a status about this, get out of that relationship too.
Get on out of there, man. They're affecting your Facebook status. That's deep. You done brought it to social media. And I agree with that. Because if I will never air my laundry out, but if you get me to the point where I got to go on social media and blast you, and some people real petty because they had tagged the person in it. If you look, even worth all that. Oh God, I'm not even gonna get on the next show. We're gonna talk about that new show with the people I've been ghosted and I want to meet my ghost. Oh my gosh, like I cannot wait to get on that one. We gonna brief you on that one. They want to meet their Casper's child. I don't understand it.
Years later.
I done ghosted you 4, 5, 6 years ago, and you call a TV show to help find me. No, why? For what? For what? Why?
Closure.
That's it. That's why. That's why. Showtime. The closure was they hit that block button. Case closed. But this is my final words of advice. I'm going to give 2 pieces. For those of you who receive phone calls, text messages, or Facebook pings or statuses from friends who continuously air their dirty laundry and their piss poor relationships that they continue to endure, instead of you continuing to respond to them, just send them the link to the show. Text them the link to the show. We'll help them for you, because I know you're tired of having the same conversation every other month. Some people it's every other week. For those of you who are in the struggling relationship that's no longer holding on by a thread, but in your mind, you're trying to salvage it. It's over. It's done. Let it go. Move on. Like Theo said, you should love yourself and have more respect for yourself to endure a horrible, horrible, horrible relationship over and over and over. And the definition of insanity, we've said this before, is doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. It's not going to change. So with that, we hope to uplift you and helping you make the decision to cut the ties, let them go, and move on, be happy. Find someone who wants the same thing that you want in a relationship, who's going to respect your happiness and who is ultimately going to make you happy. So that's all we have for you today on Love and War. You can do like you always do. Check us out on Mondays from 8 to 8:30. We will be going on our summer hiatus soon. So for all of you who want to be a guest on the show for the next season of Love and War, all you have to do is either comment below here on this feed here, or you can email theloveandwarshow@gmail.com. That's theloveandwarshow@gmail.com. Head on over to the website, www.dearchrissy.com. That's DARCRISSI.com. Check the archive shows that you missed. And we're going to catch you next week.